Men who were on the fence about kids, and had one. How do you view that choice now? How did your life change? Do you regret it? Do you wish you did it sooner? I want to know the positives and negatives. Don't regret the kid. Just my choice in who her mother was. Regret. Edit. The responsibility and stress is more than I bargained for. They are so much more expensive than you plan for as well. And the anxiety of worrying about them all the time isn't worth it for me. You have no more free time to unwind and decompress, and it feels overwhelming most days. It's way too much even for the two of us. Just can't keep up. It's a 24/7 job and it's exhausting. I miss the days before. I wasn't really convinced, but we had 3 and I can say for certain that I'm not the kids type and would have made a different choice if I could do it all over. It's not that I don't love my children, but I don't get any happiness or satisfaction out of being a parent like others do. I never wanted kids, but my wife insisted. 2 kids later. I don't regret it for 1 second. Even so, I got a vasectomy. Definitely don't want any more lol. I had 3 money and no kids, now I have 3 kids and no money. I started relatively late. First kid was born when I was 39. I was on the fence a long time. It's the best thing that has ever happened to me. It's taught me so much about myself. About love. About teaching. About learning. About patience. And about joy. My only regret is that I didn't meet my wife and start having kids earlier. It's absolutely the most wonderful thing I've ever done. And I've led a really cool life. Nothing remotely compares to it. I was so anti-kid, my wife cried when she found out she was pregnant. When my daughter popped out, it was like a switch threw inside me. I became the doting dad and spoiled her every chance I got. 38 years later and I wouldn't change a thing. I wanted to have kids, so I have 3. Now I'm on the fence. I feel like with a decision that big you should be more than on the fence about it. Should have walked when she asked me to give her kids. Just wanted to say, as someone who's on the fence about it, this is really nice to read. I'm almost certain I'll never have kids, but I do have that 10 in me that wonders maybe someday. I'm 27 now. I have a lot of life hopefully to live still, but it's nice to read what genuine love can be for another person. I find joy sometimes in watching people, especially fathers, get to bond with their kids and make memories. Maybe I'm here to be an uncle instead. As a child from a broken home, I can tell you I flat out didn't want kids. As a 42-year-old with 2 amazing children, I can tell you experience is everything. Is it easy? No. Is it all joy and fun? No. Did it give me purpose and a sense of happiness no amount of self-gratification could ever achieve? Hell yes. A good partner is essential. I definitely won the lottery when it comes to my fam. I've lost most of my close nuclear family members and don't believe I would still be here if not for my wife and kids. Never really gave it much thought. But when confronted with a pregnancy, I was solidly on the side of having a baby, and we have an awesome family as a result. Being a father is truly a rewarding experience. I cannot stress just how important the selection of your kid's mother is, though. I can look back now and confidently say I was not ready to get married when I did. And was not ready to become a dad when I did. You truly need to have gone through the trials and tribulations as a man to be prepared for those things. I do not recommend these decisions for any man who hasn't achieved a state of abundance. This is the best comment thread I've ever seen on Reddit. One of my buddies and his wife were on the fence about having kids, but she was turning 34 and was afraid that after 35 she would have trouble having children. After 35 things become more complicated for women, so they had a child, and he literally told me one night after a few drinks, "Listen man, I love my daughter to death, so don't take this the wrong way, but if you're on the fence about having kids, then think twice before having them, because it's $king hard, and between long hours at work and raising her, I'm exhausted all the time. I'm stressed out all the time. And I often think about what it would be like without kids. Lol. Never had any desire to get married or had kids. I assumed I would be permanently single and was okay with it. Then I met my wife. She's smart, beautiful, and has great maternal instincts. She's a great mother and wife. I don't regret having children. To put it simply, it filled a hole that I didn't know was there. I wasn't on the fence, I was absolutely against it. Then being a dumb 17-year-old who couldn't keep it in his pants happened. And shortly after turning 18, my daughter was born. Best mistake I ever made. Don't regret it. Got the snip after. Won't be happening again. I absolutely love the shit out of them until my wife convinces me to take both of them somewhere 30 minutes away, 30 minutes before nap time. Then I wonder if choices need to be made. Amazing, amazing wife, amazing 2-year-old daughter. No regrets. Wish I had kids sooner. It's easy to measure how kids will take away from your life, as many other posters have written. What you can't fathom is how much you'll gain by having them. It's incalculable. I will say that my wife and I plan to have a child, and that we both are in a position financially to still be comfortable with all the added expenses. I'll also add that we don't have much family help. There are lots of factors that can affect how well people feel after having a child. They certainly aren't prerequisites, but certainly can play a role in how people are commenting on threads like these. The people that keep saying that all the suffering is worth it are just coping. Anyone can be a parent, but it takes effort to be a good parent. Most people aren't equipped to handle a life-altering decision like having child, and that's reality. I love my kids and want the best for them. However, if I was to go back to the decision point, it would be a no this time around. The stress, tiredness, anxiety, lack of a life, etc. is just too much for me. They are 4 and 2 now, and I'm doing my best. But it's just difficult, and I find myself wishing time away and/or wishing I just had a totally different life. I'm not planning on leaving my wife or abandoning the kids, though. I plan on just keeping on going until I keel over from a stress-induced heart attack or something. That way I can get out of all the stress without looking like the bad guy. I think it's the second best choice I've ever made. My first choice was no kids. She wanted kids, so we had one. I didn't want 2 kids, and she talked me into a second. I can't explain how happy I am that she did. I wanted kids, but I wanted to wait a while. Well, 2.5 years into marriage, found out she was pregnant. I was 25 when he was born. It's a lot of work, and can be exhausting and super stressful and expensive. But honestly, I love my kid and I'd do anything for him, and I wouldn't trade this past year and a half for anything. You're asking parents to say they hate their kids, so of course you'll have a huge bias here. There's a something along the lines of regretful parents you might want to search for if you want real answers. All of my kids suck. They are really annoying and I don't like any of them. I regret ever having them, and every day I think about how cool I would be without them. I would beg for an abortion now that I have my freedom back. But I'm glad my son is here and he's my zombie by tool. Didn't want kids. Got a little carried away during the pandemic and had a son. I literally cannot imagine my life without him. I have so much fun and fulfillment in my life. We have had some rough days and I know more are coming. But I will never regret it. We have another on the way so that he has someone to play with and we can be a big family. But no more after that. I also do not like other people's kids. Man shrugging, medium dark skin tone.